during this time of year, we tend to go through different scenarios our teams or even other teams can make during the NFL draft and kind of pitch ideas to one another. But unfortunately, some ideas are just terrible. To be honest with you, I would put a hole through my monitor if this happened for the Giants. I will be quite frank with you. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. The draft is coming up. It's about a month away. I definitely haven't done nearly as much content as I've wanted to do. I always do this to myself. I want to come out with more mock drafts. I want to come out with all these different ideas, but man, there's just not enough time. But throughout this draft process, I've definitely looked at different videos, watched different content creators when it comes to the NFL draft. I'm a draft junkie. I watch mock drafts of random, accounts, guys that have like 47 views on videos, and even, the NFL Stock Exchange, Brett Coleman, this, that, and the third. But there was a video I came across by the NFL Stock Exchange. You guys know them, Trevor and Connor. They do some amazing content. They work with PFF. Trevor Sikkema is actually responsible for the PFF mock draft simulator. He kind of runs that, and that big board is his big board. And they did a collaboration with the Bootleg podcast, or Brett Coleman and EJ. They do amazing content on their channels as well. So they did a mock draft together, sort of a duo mock draft, and I couldn't wait to see what they thought the Giants would do in a certain situation. And my God, my mind was boggled. Now listen, this doesn't mean this is actually going to happen, but I kind of want to make this video because I want to give you guys probably as much scenarios as possible, because I get in my comments all the time that the Giants should just trade down. We get this every single year. Unfortunately, we've come to this point of our fandom where our favorite team, the New York Giants, has been in a top 10 scenario for quite a while now. And every single year, I get people in the comments talking to trade down and to acquire picks for the future. I'm going to show you why that is a terrible idea sometimes.
I think
before we make our pick,
yeah, go ahead.
EJ, would you entertain trading Abdul Carter?
Probably not.
So immediately I thought, absolutely not. Brett Coleman goes into this explanation how the Giants are structured right now, and this whole mock draft, well, I'll get into why I didn't watch the whole thing in a second, but this whole mock draft was just thinking too much about each pick. They were just thinking themselves out of picking a player that they go ahead and make a terrible selection afterwards because they're just thinking too hard about it. You're going to see the Jacksonville pick in a second. But, he goes into how, the skill set with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter are just very similar, and how are you going to use Kayvon? Listen, I don't blame Brett Coleman for not being very involved with the New York Giants because he covers like a bunch of teams, and he's a Texans fan, for crying out loud. So Kayvon Thibodeaux, the Giants have until May to get the fifth-year option, to use the fifth-year option on Kayvon Thibodeaux if they want to do it. They have still yet to do that. They've had all off seasons to make that move, and they haven't done it, which means they're probably leaning towards not giving Kayvon his fifth year, and that probably means they're going to let him walk after next year, barring a phenomenal season that makes them pay for him a lot earlier instead of taking the fifth-year option this year. So they would have to be blown away to go back on, on that. And Kayvon would want to come back. And I get Kayvon plays that strong side role a lot, but Abdul Carter is like the next Micah Parsons, in my opinion. Their road to the NFL are very similar, both coming from Penn State, both starting off at the off-ball linebacker position. Very raw as a pass rusher, but shows a lot of traits and off to a phenomenal start, and was already one of the best pass rushers in their draft classes. And Abdul Carter is definitely the best pass rusher in his draft class, and he's still learning. His ceiling hasn't even been close to met yet. So I will not even think twice about it. But of course, Brett Coleman says, let's just skip out on Abdul Carter because Brian Burns plays a similar position as a weak side, and there's Kayvon there. Like, Kayvon is going to keep me from getting Abdul Carter. It's just not happening. So let's continue and follow along with me.
So, that being said, Carolina, you guys are good with it?
Yeah, I would sign
Oh
off
yeah,
on
we
this.
picked for 8. Oh yeah. Let's go get Abdul Carter. I didn't even realize we were in the driver's seat, baby.
So you guys can see the compensation there. It's the 8th pick, their second round pick, their third round pick, and a next year's second. Now I don't think it's going to be that simple. Carolina is not going to give up their first 3 picks of the same draft, and their next pick is the 111th. They have a lot of work to do on that team. I don't know if that would be the compensation. It just seems too easy for me. Even so, the Giants missing out on Abdul Carter for not even a first-round pick next year is ridiculous. I can't fathom that. I'm not going to give up Abdul Carter and not get a first-round pick as some sort of compensation for it.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Now, you would think, hey, they're just going to trade down because the NFL's not in love with Shedeur. So if you still think you can get Shedeur, trade down, acquire some picks, and still get Shedeur, right? Keep watching.
Yeah, that's all right. I think we have to pay this one off because that was the whole reason for making the trade. So you're on the hook for this one, Coleman.
So
Best of luck.
It's a little early for me for Mason Graham. Not going to lie. And I know Giants fans are like, oh, please put him next to Dexter Lawrence, which I think there's really good pass rushing interior linemen in this class. I don't necessarily think you need to take Mason Graham in the top 10. And I want to read off some numbers for Giants fans. They're also backed up on tape, by the way. If you're looking at true pass sets and pass rush productivity against true pass sets for this entire D-line class, Mason Graham is like barely in the top 12 in this class. Omar Norman blows him out of water. Derek Harmon blows him out of water. You look at Ty Robinson, you look at these people's, even Riley Mills, both of the old Miz guys, Walter Nolan, JJ, they're both more productive as pass rushers. Mason Graham has a lot of clean wins on tape. Like he's got great hips as a run defender, like a run defender. But his lack of length and power as a pass rusher means he either wins clean immediately or he does not win at all. There's virtually no secondary pass rush at all on tape. Like if the first move gets stopped, you can't just transition rush and win with power. He doesn't really collapse the pocket. Like I see people bring up Tatum Bryan. I don't want to be that harsh because it's not like that. But I see a good 3-technique defensive tackle that is a good run defender and will contribute some really nasty wins as a pass rusher until he goes up against a guard that has similar athleticism to him but with more length, which is virtually all of them.
So if you guys saw the picks that were made, Ashton Genty went to the Jags at 5 because Brett Coleman kind of like big brained this and said, listen, they have Travis Etienne and he's on the last year of his deal, and they like went through what's best for the team and stuff like that, and they went Ashton Genty. It just doesn't make sense for the Jags to get Ashton Genty. And I know you got Liam Cohen, they got Bucky Irvin last year, and Bucky Irvin did a great job. They just big brained it way too much. And then you got the stock exchange guys, Connor and Trevor, taking Tyler Warren when they just got Brock Bowers. Like, this was a mock draft of who can overthink about their pick the most. Who can make the most diabolical pick the most. It didn't make any sense. The pick that makes the most sense is Armand Membu going to the Jets. It was like a no-brainer. They didn't have to talk about it much. And then you guys just heard Brett Coleman going into this spiel about Mason Graham and his pass rush numbers and how it doesn't seem like he's worth it in the top 10 because his pass rush set numbers aren't great. It's like 12%. Listen, one thing we have to understand here is that he'll be next to Dexter Lawrence. If you watched Mason Graham at his time in Michigan, he had a lot of double teams. Now, I know he had Kenneth Grant there, which is probably the most you could compare to Dexter Lawrence in this draft class. Kenneth Grant to Dexter Lawrence, a high upside pass rush guy that is a true nose tackle. But it's Dexter Lawrence. This guy, Dexter Lawrence, sees double teams and triple teams on the regular and is one of the best interior defenders versus double teams in the NFL, in NFL history, okay? You're talking about Mason Graham. All you're asking Mason Graham to do is win a one-on-one. The majority of the time, you're going to ask him to win on one-on-one. So I don't want to hear about how he does versus being double teamed and his true pass rush set numbers and stuff like that. All I'm asking Mason Graham to do is be great on a one-on-one. He's already great stopping the run. A lot of people said that he has trouble versus in a pass rush. I really didn't see that on tape when he was going one-on-one. He's so quick off the snap. And I know he's smaller, maybe shorter arms, but we've seen guys in the NFL like Ed Oliver with short arms be extremely successful in the NFL. That doesn't matter to me. You're big braining this pick way too much. If you're going to trade down and Mason Graham is still there, I am pulling the trigger for sure on Mason Graham. But I thought they were going to go Shedeur. No, they don't even go Mason Graham or Shedeur Sanders. Look who they go here.
Oh, man. I do
That's
so
where I
love
need a little
watching you
help,
paint
BJ.
yourself into the corner of the kitchen.
I mean, so Will Campbell's there,
No.
right? If you want to
No.
put him at one of the
no,
guard
don't do
spots,
it, please. No.
would that interest you?
You know,
Sorry, I'm just trying to get
I'm
good
hanging the
players.
Giants pick on you because you said trade back.
But like, if we're trading back, we're getting capital and Will Campbell.
I feel better about it, for sure.
Will Campbell with the Giants at 8, and
Yeah.
now you guys are up with the Saints at number 9.
I can tell EJ is not happy with this pick at all. He's just going with the flow, and Brett Coleman is just controlling this situation. My God, what a terrible way to come to this conclusion. My goodness. First of all, Will Campbell, we've never seen this guy at guard before. Why are we just assuming Will Campbell is going to be a great guard? He struggles versus power. One of the biggest things that you need as a guard is having good resistance versus power, and having power yourself. He's huge. He's 6'7". He's already at a disadvantage being an extremely tall guard. He's got shorter arms. He doesn't have a wide frame like you see a lot of guards have, and even tackles that turn into guards like Mekhi Becton had wide frames to play the guard position. He just doesn't. We don't know what Will Campbell's going to be at the next level. All we know is that he's talented, and he's only ever played tackle in college. We don't even know. You're going to trade down and skip out on Mason Graham for a guy you don't even know is going to work out at guard, and a guy that just doesn't seem like a guard in my opinion. We're just plugging him in at guard because he has short arms. That is literally the only reason why they think he's a guard. They're big braining this way too much. So the Giants, I'm already not a Shedeur guy in the top 10 as it is, but if you're going to trade down and still get Shedeur, there's not much I could complain about, right? But they traded down and looked at the picks that they had and say, Mason Graham, his true pass rush set numbers are just not desirable. Not next to Dexter Lawrence. It's just not going to work out. Let's just get Will Campbell, even though the Giants have been all right at the offensive line position, and we're going to get a guy that just hasn't played guard before, and we're gonna try it out because we think he could be a Pro Bowl guard for no reason at all. By the way, there's just nothing backing up that we think he's gonna be a Pro Bowl guard at all. So we'll just take Will Campbell. So as you guys can see, that happened, and I clicked off the video immediately. I said, if you draft Will Campbell, I'm clicking off the video, because people who are on the outside looking in, NFL fans that do these mock drafts on the outside looking in, think that the Giants just still needs offensive line help, like, desperately. Listen, the Giants are in no great position with the offensive line, but it's definitely not worth addressing the offensive line with a tackle converted to a guard in the top 10. The Giants it's just not necessary. The Giants have a extremely large gap with that defensive interior position. They literally just have Dexter Lawrence there. That's it. And so skipping out on Mason Graham for a ridiculous reason and getting Will Campbell and placing him at guard might be the worst pick I've ever seen in this entire draft process. This is worse than the pick that they made for Ashton Jeanty at 5. I can at least fathom it a little bit. But my God, this is terrible. And this is the risk what you take when you trade down. If you guys remember the 2021 draft, Micah Parsons, right? The last draft that Dave Gettleman had, Micah Parsons was available. The Giants kind of really panicked with their pick. I believe it was the 11th pick that they had, and Devontae Smith goes 10th overall because the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles trade with each other. Philly jumps up, grabs Devontae Smith. You guys know that video is the best video on my channel. They're taking Devontae Smith.
You're lying to me.
They're gonna freaking take Devontae Smith. Because Philly fans still go back to that and watch it all the time. to laugh at me. And the Giants traded back. Yeah, they acquired a first-round pick next year, as opposed to this ridiculous, draft scenario. They acquired a first-round pick next year. Then they draft Kadarius Toney, and then with that first-round pick, it was 5th overall. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, who Kayvon is all right, but was he really worth the 5th overall pick? Not really. So trading down always seems like a nice thing because you're getting future picks, but that doesn't mean those future picks are even going to hit. You gotta stop. We have to stop big braining this. This was just a terrible draft scenario. I would have been okay with you trading down, acquiring picks, 2 second rounders, and a third as well, and just getting Shedeur and just calling it a draft. At least Mason Graham. Fill a need, get the best player available, in my opinion, and move on. You draft Will Campbell, brother. I had to click off the video. I was not interested in any other pick that they were going to make because it was going to trigger me. I don't even know where Shedeur goes. I don't even know where Mason Graham wound up going. I don't know. I'm not going to find out. I'm not going to move past that video. I'm just going to move on. I'll still watch their content. I still love NFL Stock Exchange and the Bootleg Podcast. I still love Brett Coleman's channel. Still love them all. This was just a diabolical video that I just cannot see myself through. So, that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. That was a weird trade scenario. Listen, I may be in the wrong here. I may be in the minority opinion here. What do you guys think about this scenario? Do you like it? If you like it, hey, to each their own. As long as you're subscribed to me, I respect your decision. But to be honest with you, I would put a hole through my monitor if this happened for the Giants. I will be quite frank with you. So again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this? Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next video.